Do you feel you could use some more luck in life? Do you feel others are luckier than you are? Do you feel you have to work harder than the others for the same amount of accomplishments in life? I'm going to answer all your questions today. Just stay tuned and don't go away. Cheers. Hello and welcome to Sip and Talk with Vikram in one more edition of Lateral Learning. In this segment, we learn about different business skills and life skills through stories. Stories have the power of telling those things which the textbooks cannot explain. That is why I bring to you a new story every time with a message in it. I hope you like this one. Those who are watching me for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and hit the bell icon to stay notified. Keep posting in your comments and stay tuned with lateral learning. Cheers! So here we go with our story of the day. This is no life. So this is the story wherein a beggar was begging at a doorstep and he could see from the door that was ajar that it was a farmer's house. The farmer has just come back from work. He washed his hand and feet. He sat with his children. And then his wife comes with freshly cooked food. She serves rice and then some nice curry on it. And the aroma of the food filled the nostrils of this beggar. And it made him so impatient, he started knocking the door and asking for food. Now, the farmer's wife came with a handful of raw rice and gave it to him. And she shut the door. So the beggar got something and he was just walking away thinking that look at this farmer's life, he's so blessed. He grows his own food, he's got a family, a home, and his wife cooks him fresh meals every day. And oh, so delicious meals, what a life he has got. And look at me, I have to go, I have to cook this rice into some kind of insipid porridge and eat it with salt. I have no pickle also to go along with it. This is no life. So, very disgustedly, the beggar walked away. And meanwhile, as the farmer finished his food, he was sitting and thinking pensively. He spoke to his wife. Listen, our oxen have become old. They are not capable of doing any more work. Before the next plowing season, we have to buy a new pair of oxen. We need money and I'm broke. We'll have to go to the money lender and borrow some money. But he will ask something to pawn. His wife was very intelligent. So she got up and brought a pair of gold bangles and gave it to him. He took it with a heavy heart. Nobody wants to pledge his wife's jewelry for any reason. So he went to the pawnbroker and gave him the gold bangles and asked for money. Now the pawnbroker was a very shrewd guy. He examined it and said, "Oh, you are asking for so much of loan, and look at this, what you've got, this is of no value." And after a lot of haggling and a huge rate of interest, finally he was able to borrow some money from the pawnbroker. So as he was going away, he was thinking, look at this pawnbroker, how mean he is. He's just sitting in his home and making so much money. And look at me, I'm working all day in the sun, in the fields, all that sweat and dust. And what do I get in the end? I'm broke and I have to borrow money, I have to pawn my wife's jewelry. There was a tear in his eyes as he thought about that. This is no life, he said. So as he went away, now the pawnbroker was looking into his ledgers and he found some entries and he was alarmed. Oh, this man has died. Who will repay his loan? There is nobody. And look at this other guy. He's left the village forever. Nobody is going to repay his amount. Now, these are the business hazards that he has to face sometimes. So he took out certain things that they had pledged and he thought, let me go to the jeweler and sell these articles and try to recover some money. So he goes to the jeweler's shop. Now the jeweler says, oh, these articles are impure. They don't have so much value as you think they have. You can get only this much. There was no choice. He took whatever was given, and while he was going, he was thinking, look at this jeweler. When he sells something, those things are very pure. He can demand any price for that. And when he wants to buy something, those things are impure. Now, who decides what is pure, what is impure? He's got control over his own life and his business, and I don't. Look at his life. He's so fulfilled, so blessed. And look at me. I have to give my money to people, and there is a risk of not even getting back the principal amount. Forget about the interest. This is no life. So, as he went away, now the jeweler was packing his stuff, and suddenly on the television there was a broadcast that there are certain new levy of taxes on jewelry. Now the jeweler was terrified. Oh, how will I sustain in my business? Every other day the people bring out new taxes and they're not sparing the jewelers. We are doing our work so honestly and still there are more and more taxes levied on us. What should I do? Now thinking about the taxes reminded him, oh, the tax officer's wife had ordered a necklace and I'm supposed to deliver it today. So let me go and deliver the necklace to her. And if possible, I'll meet the tax officer and figure out what we can do about these taxes. So he goes to the taxman's house, delivers the jewelry, and then he says, sir, new taxes have been levied on me. Please suggest me how can I get out of this problem. Now the taxman was a very stern guy, so he snubbed him and said, look, don't waste my time. Go away, pay your taxes, okay? These are instructions from the government. So the jeweler was walking away and he was thinking, this taxman has to put in nothing in his life. He just gets his salary from the government and all he has to do is collect taxes from people. And he's so rude. He did not help me. He's got a life. And look at me. I am struggling. I am doing my work. I am investing my money and I am paying so much taxes in the end. What do I get for myself? This is no life. So as he walked away, the taxman was checking his emails and he was doing his work. And he got one email in which there were orders for transfer for him. Now he was terrified. Transfer? It has been just 2 years over here. Now my children will have to again change their schools. We have to relocate our homes. So much of trouble. Let me go and meet the minister and see if something can be done. So he goes to the minister's house and very politely he prays, sir, there are orders for my transfer. Can you use your good offices and postpone it for a few years? My children are going to school. We have to relocate our family. There's so much of trouble for us. The minister said, look, this is election time. I have to prepare for canvassing. I don't have time for your problems right now. See me after a few months when I'm free. But for now, please go away. Now the taxman was thinking, okay, what should I do? He was very dejected. While he was going, he was thinking, look at the ministers. They've got all the powers in the world. They can help somebody if they wish to, and they don't need to help anybody if they don't want to oblige. Their life is so cool. And look at me. Every now and then I have to just follow the orders and instructions of the government. And what do I get in the end? Nothing. This is no life. So as he went away, the minister was busy preparing for his elections. He was talking to his teams, and then his PA came and informed something in his ears, and the minister was shocked listening to this. Now, for making arrangements for money which he will be requiring to spend during canvassing, he had speculated some amount and the speculation went bad. So he lost all his money. And now he was so shocked. He instantly got a heart attack. He was taken to hospital. Okay, he was treated. He got back. And he lost his canvassing opportunity in that election. So he was just sitting in his room, looking out of the window, and he saw a beggar walking by. And he thought to himself, look at this beggar. He goes home to home gets some food, eats it, and sleeps peacefully. And look at me, I go begging for votes, home to home. Somebody obliges, somebody doesn't. And if I don't go there or I'm not able to, I'm just thrown out. I'm forgotten. This is no life. So you see, my dear friends, this story has come to a full circle. We began from a beggar who was comparing himself to the farmer. The farmer compared himself to the pawnbroker. The pawnbroker compared himself to the jeweler. The jeweler compared himself to the taxman. The taxman compared himself to the minister. And the minister eventually compared himself to the beggar. And each one thought that the next person is so lucky, and I am myself not that lucky. Why was this problem? Because they were comparing themselves with the standard measurement of others. What happens when you compare yourself with others? You will feel inadequate because the others have their own measure of success, and you have to define what is your measure of success. What are the things that hold value for you? What do you want to achieve in your life, and what can you do about it? See, just hollow dreams are not going to get you anywhere. You should know your values, you should know your capabilities, and based on that, you should have a goal in life. So, when you have that goal in life, backed with your abilities, you have to give your 100% to it. And once you are able to put in your 100% into that, you will certainly achieve what you want to achieve. So, stop comparing yourself with anybody else. You are unique in yourself. All you have to do is you have to become the best version of yourself. And how to do it? You have to make sure that you give in your 100% in whatever you do. And also, one more important thing is please celebrate the small successes in life. What I mean is, there are very few opportunities in life which are grand, which are big, but they come very rare. And you cannot spend all your life waiting for those big opportunities. There are small achievements in everyday life. Celebrate those. Be thankful. Be grateful. Once you celebrate your success frequently, more of those will come to you. You see what happens when somebody is thankful, somebody is happy to receive something. Don't you feel like giving more of that? Say a child is very fond of chocolates, you give him one chocolate and he expresses very great delight in receiving that. Don't you feel next time you will give him more? Likewise, when you are grateful to what little you got in life, this universe will come and give you more of that because you are that kind who is thankful, who is grateful, who celebrates every small success. So, viewers, how did you like this story? Please post in your comments and let me know. I need to know from you how you are learning from my stories. And those who are watching me for the first time, please subscribe to this channel and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Also, please keep posting in your comments. Thank you very much for watching. Namaste.